Welcome to a journey into the opulent world of 18th century fashion, a world of grand ballrooms, intricate gowns, and most intriguingly, powdered wigs. It's a world where nobility embraced a fashion trend that, at first glance, might seem bizarre. In this exploration, we will delve into the peculiar question of why nobles wore bug-infested powdered wigs. The fashion statement. In the 18th century, fashion was more than just clothing. It was a statement of one's social standing and wealth. Nobles, in particular, were deeply conscious of their appearances, and the more elaborate, the better. The powdered wig emerged as a symbol of prestige, reserved for the upper echelons of society. It was a potent fashion statement that showcased one's position in the hierarchy. These wigs came in various styles and sizes, each with a unique story. The towering, elaborate wigs, known as fontanges, were popular among the French aristocracy. Smaller wigs, or queues, were favored by English gentlemen. This variety allowed individuals to express their personality, social rank, and even political affiliations through their choice of wigs. Hygiene and social norms. The 18th century was a time of different hygiene standards compared to today. Frequent bathing was not the norm, and deodorants as we know them didn't exist. To mask the unpleasant odors that resulted from this lack of hygiene, the powdered wig became a practical solution. It acted as a sort of fragrant accessory, helping to maintain a fashionable image while concealing the less appealing aspects of personal hygiene. Social norms were rigorous, and the pressure to conform was immense, leading nobles to adopt this peculiar custom to fit in. Furthermore, the powdered wigs were not solely a fashion choice. They were a status symbol, with the quality and elaborateness of the wig serving as a visible indicator of one's wealth and social standing. Moreover, the application of powder had a ceremonial aspect to it, as one would often be powdered by a skilled servant or hairdresser. Practical reasons. While powdered wigs might seem bizarre, they served a practical purpose. Lice infestations were a common issue during this era, affecting people across social classes. To combat this problem, the powdered wig acted as a barrier. Lice were unable to reach the scalp through the powdered layers, and this practical consideration led to the widespread adoption of this peculiar fashion accessory. To maintain this barrier effectively, not only were the wigs powdered, but they were often perfumed to further mask unpleasant odors, thus enhancing their practicality. In addition to lice prevention, the wigs also protected wearers from fleas and other parasites that were common in 18th century living conditions. Lice and powdered wigs. The connection between lice and powdered wigs is more than mere coincidence. Lice thrived in the hair of the time, making wigs a logical choice to prevent infestations. The wigs acted as a barrier, trapping lice and preventing them from reaching the scalp. Historical accounts and anecdotes further substantiate the prevalence of lice during this era, making wigs a pragmatic response to a pervasive issue. Lice were a persistent nuisance, and powdered wigs offered a dual benefit. They not only concealed the presence of lice, but also helped prevent their spread, which was of great concern in crowded social gatherings and close-knit noble circles. To manage this issue, specialized combs and powders were used to remove and prevent lice infestations within the wigs, highlighting the ongoing battle against these pests. The process of wig maintenance. Maintaining a powdered wig was an elaborate process. It involved the skill of wig makers and hairdressers who carefully crafted and styled the wigs. Additionally, meticulous care was required to preserve the integrity of the powdered layers. To maintain these elaborate and often massive wigs, various tools were used, including powder puffs and wig stands. The maintenance of these wigs could be a daily ritual, highlighting their importance in the daily lives of the nobility. While the wigs themselves may have been a breeding ground for lice, the careful maintenance and styling ensured that they remained bug-infested only in appearance, not in reality. This care extended to the selection of appropriate powders and scents to keep the wigs both visually appealing and pleasantly fragrant. Symbol of tradition and authority. Powdered wigs were not just a fashion trend. They were deeply entrenched in tradition and authority. The use of wigs among the nobility can be traced back to earlier centuries, when they were adopted as a sign of respect and authority. This tradition persisted into the 18th century, and for many nobles, wearing a powdered wig was an homage to their forebears. The judiciary, for example, often wore wigs in courtrooms as a symbol of impartiality and wisdom. Thus, these wigs symbolized a connection to the past and the authority they represented. They were a visual reminder of the long-standing traditions and customs of the nobility and legal system, further solidifying their importance in society. Influence on popular culture. The fashion choices of the nobility, including powdered wigs, had a profound and enduring impact on popular culture. In the world of literature, authors frequently utilized powdered wigs to symbolize aristocratic characters or to highlight the absurdity of the upper classes. For instance, in Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock, the powdered wig is humorously portrayed as a symbol of vanity and social pretense. In Charles Dickens' novels, such as A Tale of Two Cities, characters' wigs often reflect their social status and personality, emphasizing how wigs became a literary device to convey character traits. Moreover, in the realm of visual arts, powdered wigs played a significant role. Artists such as Thomas Gainsborough and Joshua Reynolds depicted their noble sitters with elaborate powdered wigs, capturing the essence of the era's high society. These portraits not only celebrated the elegance of the wigs, but also conveyed the power and opulence of the individuals who wore them. The visual arts thus became a reflection of the societal influence and status of powdered wigs. In addition to literature, art, and theater, powdered wigs also left an indelible mark on political caricatures and satirical prints. Pioneering satirists like James Gillray and George Cruikshank used exaggerated powdered wigs to lampoon politicians and royalty. The absurdity of these wigs provided a convenient symbol to critique the ruling elite, making the powdered wig a potent tool of political and social satire. This influence, both humorous and critical, not only reflected societal views, but also contributed to shaping them. Powdered wigs served as a rich source of inspiration for artists, authors, and playwrights, making them a central element of popular culture. In this way, they became not just a fashion statement, but a symbol that left an indelible imprint on the collective imagination of society. In conclusion, powdered wigs were more than just an eccentric fashion choice of the 18th century. They represented a complex interplay of fashion, hygiene, societal norms, tradition, authority, and cultural influence. These wigs served as both a fashion statement and a practical solution to combat lice infestations in an era when personal hygiene was far from our modern standards. They were intricately linked with social status, tradition, authority, and cultural impact, leaving an indelible mark on history. As we delve into the past, we are left pondering what other peculiar customs and practices might await discovery in the history of fashion. The bug-infested powdered wigs, with their multifaceted significance, serve as a unique window into a world where appearances were both a reflection of and a departure from the norms of the time.